Here we are at the Stillorgan Luas stop, and we have a Luas train on the way. Now, the actual line was opened in July 2004, and my late father would have used the Harcourt Street line, so it's quite poignant to have him on one of the first trams. This line here is actually a branch line in railway terms that goes down to Bride's Glen near the Harcourt Street Viaduct. And interestingly enough, you still have aspects of the old line here. This wall here beside the reservoir, which is disused now. It's a Victorian reservoir, and there's a lot of construction work going on. There's a tram on the way here, and we have a platform here. The platforms are quite low compared to a regular train platform. Yeah, there's actually a depot down here that serves as the trams, quite extensive, on the near enough to the old station. Excuse me. You can see the lines branching off now to heading down to Ballyogan and on to Carrickmines, rejoining the former track bed. It was decided not to use the original alignment down to Fox Rock. They didn't anticipate the same usage as you would have had on this section. Particularly, you can see how commercial and residential that is in the background. Vodafone, there's a lot of businesses in that area, so that would generate a lot of traffic as well. As I said before, they were lucky the track bed wasn't built on. Very, very fortunate. I mean, there could have been a stage where houses were built on this side of the line, or commercial buildings and so forth, but ever since 1972, Dublin Corporation made a commitment to keep the track bed sort of free of any commercial buildings or residential buildings, so fortunately that happened. As I said before, it's one of the reasons the line closed was it was hardly ever used. It was, to be honest, it was run down a bit as well. They didn't really put a lot of thought into it. Connections and buses were prioritised over the train, even though the train from Harcourt Street to Bray would only take about 40 minutes, which is considerably less than now. I mean, you're talking about from Bray to Tara Street, Pierce, talking about 50 minutes, and that's the Dart, don't forget. This was back in the day when there was diesels and DMUs would have been the final trains used on it. Another sad thing was, on the last day of operation, they didn't provide a steam special, which would have been a poignant end to the line, but they just ran DMUs, and but these would have been this was just completely rural. You had the reservoir here on the left, and on the right would have just been countryside. And we're heading up towards the station, the old station now. So I shall be back in a minute or two.